The Windows operating system is what we call a graphical operating system. That's what most of us are used to because we've been using this for probably our whole lives. But it represents Windows, or I should say the term Windows represents programs that are open on your system. And you can have more than one program open at any given time. I can have a Word document, a PDF, a web browser, you know, these different programs that are open, and each one would be open in its own respective window. So we're going to take a look at some of the basic window controls and then some of the enhancements that Windows 7 has made. Let's start with just some of the basic window controls. Now this is going to be the case in any window that you have. So I'm going to click on the icon here for Windows Explorer, which is just a name for a program that you use to navigate storage on your system, and that's going to be on drives, whether it's on a hard drive or a removable drive, CD, DVD, USB drive, doesn't matter. You're still going to use Windows Explorer to navigate it. What we have in this window, just some default things. Basically, you have some links to favorite locations. Now, those are put in there for you, although you can tailor that a little bit. We have our libraries. Our libraries really represent a virtual location, folders, you know, or documents, pictures, music, videos. You've got home group, which is going to be networked computers if you belong to a home group. And you've got a computer, your computer there, and it's going to show you the different drives. We'd also have others on the network. Okay, so let's not worry about these so much right now, but this is what we would call a console tree, and this is a scroll bar. Okay, by left clicking and holding on that bar, I can move it up and down, and so I can scroll. When I see a little arrow next to an icon, okay, that means I can expand it. I can expand my documents again. I can expand this folder. So I mean, you can see how we can create folders. Click on them again to collapse them. That's part of just the working with Windows. Now below here, we'll have a status bar. Get something in that status bar here. For instance, if I click on this PowerPoint presentation, I get a little image about, it's a thumbnail. I get some information about the presentation or about that file. Same thing here with an Adobe Acrobat document, a PDF is what those are called. We see a little bit of information about that document. What you'll also notice on most Windows, especially Internet Explorer, is that you've got a toolbar across the top. And as I select different things, that toolbar kind of changes. We can open, we can share, we can print, email, you might be able to burn. In some cases, there are going to be different things. And you can also control the view of that folder. That's over here. Change your view. Okay, and it just cycles, and I can just click and change till I like it, or I can click the arrow and then I can see the different choices. And as I kind of just left click and scroll, we'll see the different options that we've got, and it usually will depend on the type of folder that we're dealing with. For instance, the documents library, it's probably a list is okay. Pictures, on the other hand, I want it to be in thumbnails. You know, and so I might actually go over here and say, you know what, I actually want extra large icons. So I click and drag this so that I can see those pictures. When we click on a picture, we've got our status bar down below, and that's going to show me information about that picture. So these are some of the basics in Windows 7. Now, you also have just the 3 window controls, we call them. If you hold your mouse over anything, you're going to get a pop-up. So this is minimize. Minimize takes you down to the taskbar and shows you your desktop. Click again to open it back up. We've got the what's called restore down. Restore down takes it into a window view, and then it's maximize. So this middle button is always maximize or restore down depending on what state you're currently in, and then the X is to close it. Those are the basic Windows controls. Now, the smaller your window is, the more likely for you to have one of these. Scroll wheel or scroll bars. And the scroll bars can be left-clicked and held and drag that to move it up and down to scroll through that area. If we hold our mouse over the edge of a window or at the edge, then we get the double arrows. If we left-click, hold the mouse button, we can now drag and resize these windows. The idea being that we could resize them so we could fit more windows on the screen. Now let's actually show some of the things that Windows 7 has done to enhance this. So we'll open up Internet Explorer. We'll go to a page here on Wikipedia. Let's open up a couple documents as well. We'll open up our ebook there, minimize that, and then we'll open up my Word document and minimize that. Okay, so now first things first, I have all these programs in the taskbar, but normally, I know I just closed them all, but normally what we're going to have is we're going to have this stuff just all kind of open. The first thing that I would mention is that the easiest way to get back and forth between these documents is just to really use the taskbar icon. Hover over it and then move your mouse up. It'll flip to that document. If you click, it stays. If you don't left click, then it goes with your mouse. And so we can just kind of cycle between things that way. That's probably the easiest way of doing it. If you wanted to see two documents side by side, for instance, I want to look at this Macintosh article side by side with the marketing app from Apple. Now one thing is to left click if you left click and hold on what's known as the title bar, you can move the window. Okay, so again, I could move it, I could resize these and try to make it so that both will fit next to one another and I can see both. Windows 7 makes this a lot easier. Okay, notice what I'll do. I'm in a maximized state. I left click and hold the title bar and quickly drag it to the left side of the screen and let go. Okay, I'll do the same thing with the ebook here. Left click the title bar, quickly drag it to the right hand side of the screen and let go. And notice what it did. It tiled them together side by side so that I can see them together. All right? So that's just a really cool thing. You've got another, okay, I want to minimize this and I want to see my Word document, same thing. Click, drag, and drop. So it's a real quick left click on the title bar and drag to the right to make it scale like that. If you want to cycle between windows, now I've got a lot of different programs opened up. Again, this is probably the easiest way, but you also have two other ways. The first is to hold the Alt key on the keyboard and then hit Tab. Now as I hold it, I bring up a menu of thumbnails. I can either move my mouse between them or I can simply continue with holding Alt. I'm continuing to hit the Tab key and that will cycle between those different programs. Okay? Or what you can do, let me do one thing here. We're going to go to the K-Alliance channel on YouTube so that we can have a video because I just want to see that. The other option is instead of the Alt key to hit the Windows key. The Windows key, the difference is it's going to do a Rolodex view. Okay? And so the Rolodex view allows you, again, holding the Windows key and hitting Tab allows you to cycle through things that way. And you can even see there on a video that it's still playing. Now you can also just use your mouse and point and click on something. It'll bring it to the forefront. So you basically have different options. Alt-Tab and Windows-Tab are your options. Now what if what I'm looking at, I want to make the headline. I don't want anything else on the screen. Well, here's something they call Windows Shake. Left-click the title bar and just shake the window and it minimizes everything else. Okay? Do it again and it brings whatever was open back up. Another way of seeing the desktop is to click this vertical bar way over on the right-hand side of the taskbar. Click that, and that will show the desktop. That's minimizing all windows. Okay? So again, you have the ability to manually resize, but you also have the ability to scale side by side through a quick click and drag. If that doesn't work for you the first time, then just try it again. It's really kind of about the quickness of putting those things side by side together. So again, that completes the demonstration, but the point here was to just take a look at some of the basics. The controls on each window, the scroll bars and status bars versus toolbars. There's a lot of different names that get thrown around and becoming a little bit more comfortable with that. Then I wanted to show you some of the enhancements, the Rolodex view kind of the windows that cycle through. You've got the vertical side-by-side view on Windows, the quick way to show the desktop with the arrow shake. So you've got a bunch of new capabilities that Windows 7 provides to give us that more streamlined desktop environment that makes us more efficient at what we do.